What is up, you sexy YouTube mother lover? Today we're talking about the AKM gas blowback by Tokyo Marui and why I never use it. But before we start, we gotta thank our sponsor, Brownells, the greatest sponsor on the channel. Really helping us out here, guys. But ladies, gentlemen, and may often forgotten, but not by me, AKM ends with the side mount. Guys, what is up? Today we're gonna be talking about the AKM gas blowback and why I don't use it, and why I actually ended up using my Mark 18 rifle more than this. So what is it? It's a gas blowback rifle by Tokyo Marui, and it runs on a proprietary MWS AK system, I suppose. And it weighs quite a bit. It's about maybe 4 kilos, 5 kilos, something like that. But it has a faux wood furniture on here, so it's not as heavy as you think it is. But the receiver is full metal, along with the dust cover and the magazine, of course. I wanted to get an AK. You got to know the context of this, okay? I wanted to get an AK. Everybody basically uses M4s, so I wanted to be a little bit different and get the AK. But I didn't want to get an AK that didn't have a reciprocating charging handle, because that's just really weird to not have that, you know what I mean? So that's why I don't buy standard airsoft guns anymore that have reciprocating charging handles, because it just feels really weird to me to not have that. But why don't I like it? Let's go tip the butt and we'll find out why. So, talking about the muzzle here, we got the standard AKM slanted muzzle. And I actually have no problems with this, but I did have problems with the front sight post. And I know that is a AKM special feature for all of them. They always come a little bit slanted. I remember my CM47 did have a little bit of a slant, and it really pissed me off. Now, this little bad boy here does come loose if you don't tighten it enough, and after enough recoil, it will come loose. But luckily, if you just remove the cleaning rod, you'll be able to access the screw and then fix it there and just tighten that back up. I'm gonna have to do that after. This is removable, so you can attach a tracer, and there's no grub screw for that. But the finish on this outer barrel is actually really nice, and the gas block has a very solid metal. Like, it's just solid, man. No wobble, no nothing. It's just really great. Now you're gonna wonder why I have a little M-lock section here. No, yours does not come with it. I actually installed this myself using good old zip ties and an old M-lock piece that I had that lost the screw to, so I just had one lying around and I put it on here. And this is how I put on a flashlight. And if you actually look closely, you'll see that there's a little mark on my gas block down here, or my outer barrel, where the flashlight actually screws in. And I actually have to use a pencil to kind of push this thing out and screw it in. But this is the only way for me to reliably put a flashlight on here, which is gonna bring us to the biggest issue of the AKM, is customizability. Is that even a word? Yeah, this thing was designed in 1975, and the design hasn't changed until recent times. It's really hard to modernize these things. So when you get the AKM from Tokyo Marui, you aren't getting any of those rail spaces. You aren't even getting a side mount. It's just the wood right here, man, and that's it. So what I had to do my first iteration was I had to actually get my old flashlight and tape it on here and get some duct tape and use zip ties between the gas block here, or the handguard, and I had a flashlight. But what ended up making me doing was not gripping the rifle the way I wanted to with the C-clamp, but I actually had to hold it from here, which made it really weird. That's kind of one thing that kind of sucked about it. So no customizability already is one thing at why I don't really like the AKM for my particular play style. I like to use red dots. I like to offhand shoot, and not having something to hold and grip onto and not pulling the rifle into my shoulder to just get more consistency is really difficult for me. Obviously, it's not the end of the world, but when you're used to using the AR platform and literally anything where I can put attachments on, it kind of gets a little difficult. This is also made out of full wood, so it doesn't smell nice like wood, but it does look fantastic. Looks amazing there. And it comes with this little block here that you're supposed to grip on, but I've never really liked how this felt. And we can compare that to something like this, a modernized AK, the AK Storm, which has Picatinny rails on the bottom, a hand stop, and something very comfortable to hold on with this M-lock rail here. So not having this kind of option on the AKM makes it already something I don't want to use, especially in Japanese airsoft, where we play one life game modes, and one mistake can make you sit out for about 10 or 15 minutes. You feel like you're wasting money. So, but other than that, it's actually really light because it is plastic. So it keeps the weight down on this thing. And yes, you can get custom parts for this. and it's hard. There's a lot of modification involved, a lot of filing, a lot of cutting, a lot of this and that. It's quite a job to put on any parts that like real steel spec, Zenitco, whatever it may be. Very, very difficult. The exception being real wood parts for this, which would obviously give you more grip, more weight, that nice smell. But that is quite expensive. I think it's about 150 just for that kit alone. But maybe something I'll invest to because I do like the classic wood look. Let's talk about the rear sight leaf. Okay, so pretty standard, normal. It's held down by a pressure pin here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It has a battle 0, goes all the way up to 8. But I've never really liked the AK sights, to be honest with you. They're too low for me. And they're really hard to kind of look down and get down properly if you actually want to. So what I end up usually doing in CQB anyway when I do use the iron sights is I just end up looking on top of the sights like a cringe airsofter. And if I do have to make a precise shot, I just kind of look down it and I had to close one eye to do that. So that kind of sucks. But it's airsoft, so it can't be super accurate. And speaking of accuracy, this sight leaf is off by a little bit, so you can't have that precisionness that you like. I don't know. I just don't like iron sights for the AK. But, you know, it does look clean. Like on camera, it does look clean. And I remember I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to put an optic on this thing. And I had a little rail thing that I had, and I was able to put it in there. But I guess I didn't install it properly, so it would end up being slanted. And then when you do add an optic, it does raise, you know, the height over bore, and also raises the cheek weld to a chin weld. So you're actually aiming from here rather than down here, which is good for airsoft because you wear like face gear and stuff like that. But I don't know. There's something about the classic look that I like. That's just great. Let's talk about the magazine. Magazine holds 35 rounds. I always do 30, has really, really good capacity, and it runs on duster gas. However, this can run on green gas, which is really nice. And I want to talk about that. So the thing with the AKM is that it does operate on a short stroke, on a stroke system. Big parts moving this bolt as opposed to the small bolt carrier system from the M4. This thing chugs, man. It's like a chugga. It's really nice. But at the same time, it doesn't quite feel snappy. Like, it feels good. It feels heavy, but it's missing this snappiness that the MWS M4 platform has, with, even though it runs on duster gas, this just kind of feels snappy but sluggish. And in any kind of weather condition that's not normal, so a little bit cold or damp, this thing will start to have problems chugging along, and the hop will shrink a little bit, so then you won't be able to shoot farther. And I could barely reach 30 meters at max hop with this thing sometimes. In the summer, this thing it'll snap really nicely. But I think if you had this with green gas, it'd be a lot better. What's pretty cool about this, I'm gonna get demonetized now. So you can actually see the system work, and it actually doesn't go all the way. It's not a full travel kit, but that keeps it from becoming inefficient and actually being able to run on duster gas in a number of different situations. So it's actually connected like this, and you have your spring like that, okay? And then you could take out the bolt, and just a normal system like that. Very great, very clean, really nice trigger system like that. Now the cool thing is that this AKM actually has a hammer down when you get to the last round. So when you get to the last round, instead of just shooting air, it will actually cock the hammer like this, okay? And then you can't shoot, okay? So that's really cool. I remember when I was playing with this thing, you'll be shooting, and all you hear is the sound of death. You're like, uh-oh, and you gotta go do a reload. And reloading is really slow on this thing because these magazines are quite heavy. I think they're supposed to be the equivalent of 7.62 mags at 30 rounds. So they are quite heavy even though they're empty. So the reloads are really slow on this thing. But besides that, trigger's really nice. Nice and thick. Let's go ahead, put your hand over mine, and ghost that trigger. Here we go. It's a little bit of play. Very pronounced wall. Nice. Let's try it one more time. There you go. That's very nice. There you go. And let's check that reset. Okay. Oh, very pronounced reset. Nice. So the trigger is really nice on the AK. I like it more than the M4s. Move on to the safety select. So the safety is always something you got to kind of get used to if you're coming from the M4. So it does make it a little bit less efficient when you're trying to switch from safe to semi-auto if you're trying to practice safety manipulation. So for the M4, you just go with the thumb, it's super easy. So I'm always practicing that when my gun is not downrange. It's always on safe, and then I switch to semi. But this one, you have to be more deliberate with it, and then you got to go from there like that. There and that. So what often happens is I don't bother doing the safety manipulation on the AK, so I guess that's a plus. Let's talk about the grip. Oh my god, I hate this grip. Let's talk about the actual stock now. The butt stock is kind of short for me, to be honest with you. So usually your stock should be probably touching your forearm like this, but mine doesn't. So it's actually great if I have a plate carry on, so it's kind of short enough. But if I'm running chest rig and I don't have anything kind of padding it, it gets a little bit short. But considering that it's Japan and we have really tight CQB, this is just fine, to be honest with you. It does come with a lot of scratches. It does have a sling point, and it scratches up a lot. It also has the hole of justice. Don't put anything in there. You won't be able to take it out. I'll put a scarf on here because it's cool, because I used to run this as a very jank look. But I don't do that anymore. So, now that we've broken down the gun, why don't I like it? Well, one, lack of customization. So I can't put foregrips on it. I can't put flashlights on it properly. I have to put it like that. Optics are very limited. I have to run it on the edge here instead of in front. Selector is very different to the AR-15, which is not bad. It makes it more deliberate, makes it more safe, blah, blah, blah. And magazines are really heavy. And the kick is just not quite enough. And it gets affected by weather a lot because it is a gas blowback. Now, because of that, I've actually reverted this thing to become my challenge rifle, I suppose. So I'm not going to run any attachments on it. I'm going to run it as is and just run it as a ting-ting, you know? And another reason why I put it back is because now I do have my modern AK. I have my modern AK Storm, which serves the same purpose. It's an electric, has blowback, right? It has a modern grip, really, really nice grip. I really wish I had this on the AKM. Has light magazines, has a magwell, has a Picatinny, it has flashlight options, right? It has really nice iron sight posts. I really want to get this kind for my AKM. I can't find it. It has a buffer tube stock. It's kind of cursed, but maybe I'll make a review on this thing later. But this is definitely a vast improvement ergonomically than the classic AK. But however, this thing is still a sexy mother lover, and I do want to feel it this year. I think I'm gonna use this way more this year and see how much I can get use and abuse this thing. But we won't know until we try. So we're gonna try and use this boy a little bit more. It needs some love. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about the AK. Do you like the AK platform or do you like the AR platform? Let me know in the comment section down below, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.